Welcome to Bear With Me. I'm your host, Colin Phillips, and these are my two co-hosts, John
Hey.
and Phil.
How's it going?
This is Thoughts and Other Lies, episode 4.
3.
3.
3.
It's episode 3. What's episode 3? On this episode,
listen.
we'll be... What? Okay, on this episode, we'll be talking about the most recent shootings, so gun laws in general. We'll be talking about the
Yep.
Olympics, as Phil just worked, 14 days in a row?
19. 19
days in a row.
Yeah,
That is a long-ass shift.
that is a long fucking time.
So basically, he's been working 19 days straight of just Olympic madness.
Oh, I thought you were
And,
going to run the headlines.
Like a deer in a headlight? Did I hear that right?
Oh, I thought you were running headlines. Okay.
Running headlines. Oh, yeah. And lastly, we will be talking about just general controversies in the news, I think.
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah.
probably.
Probably.
It's what
Perfect.
we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
So, Phil, you want to start the show off with your 19 day straight Olympics and some of the controversies you saw? There was obviously the Shaun White thing. I think is probably a good way to start.
Yeah, so to start off, I just did 19 straight days of work. Luckily, it was split between 4 people, so we had 6-hour shifts each. But that doesn't.
No, that's not terrible. I mean, it's not great,
It's not
but
too
it's not
bad. And I
terrible.
had prime time, so 6 p.m. to 12. I had most of my days, which is nice, but still 19 of them straight.
Yeah, that's rough.
After the 10th or 11th day, everyone just kind of saunters in and doesn't care about anything anymore.
I guess you reach that breaking point, right, where you just kind of
Yeah.
stop wanting to live.
By the last day, we all just walk in and we're like, man, I love you guys, but I can't wait to get the fuck out of here.
See, that was back when I was at university, back at York. I was a frosh boss, which basically, that's the welcome, orientation, frosh week. Every school calls it something differently.
Yeah.
And we were told by our higher ups that on the third day we were all gonna crack. We were all gonna be broken, and we're like, no, we're not. We're still gonna be having fun. Sure enough, by the third day, we had people crying in the corner, shaking uncontrollably, just flat out asleep, doing things completely absent-mindedly. It was an
Unfortunate.
it was an insanely fun week, but a very physically and emotionally taxing week. Because the whole point is the bosses have to make the Frosh's week the best week ever, so that
So,
makes us all exhausted.
In turn, make your week the worst week ever.
Basically. But I mean, we had a great Frosh week the year before, so obviously we wanted to give that back.
Yeah. Luckily, no one ended up crying in our studio, but
Well, that's good.
Yeah, one of the guys in sales, there was way too much curling, and it really hurt our numbers of viewers. And by the end of the week, he's like, if I see one more fucking curling match, I'm gonna walk out.
Speaking of curling, I saw you retweet. Did you retweet every Mr. T quote about curling, or was that somebody else?
No, that must have been someone else, but we did feature it, and I'm pretty sure I shared one of his
Yeah,
quotes.
because that's pretty funny. Because Mr. T for some reason was just really into curling.
Yeah, he loves curling now.
Who would have guessed Mr. T loves curling?
And I gotta say, curling is actually a pretty exciting sport once you get past the whole kind of boring part of it.
Once you get past the whole
boring shit.
concept of
Yeah.
curling, it's actually
Yeah.
pretty fun to watch.
But
Once
it
you
is
get-
one of
once
the
you get
most
past the part-
tactical games there is, and it's crazy what they can do with that rock. Apparently,
Yeah.
the stones come from one island in Scotland or Ireland.
Really?
Yeah, it's a certain kind of marble or what fucking granite. It's a certain type of granite that they use.
Oh,
And
that's
it only comes
interesting.
from one island.
And like
I'm gonna-
Scotland, you said, or is it just somewhere in Europe?
I'm pretty sure it's Scotland.
Scotland. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It
All
just,
right.
I guess it curls a certain way, and they can work it some way that other granite just doesn't work.
Good to know.
So how about the those controversies then in the Olympics? Colin, you were saying something about Shaun White?
Yeah. So apparently he ended up accidentally letting the flag touch the ground after he did. It was his big error on the or was it half pipe? I think it was half pipe.
Yeah, it was a half pipe. That's the only thing that he does apparently, which is kind of
Okay,
upsetting.
so he does his one thing, which is half pipe, and he does it really well. Wins gold. Is one because it basically is the greatest
Oh, dude,
half pipe
fucking killed
snowboarder
it.
out there.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And he, on the way coming back, when I guess he's given a flag and he's coming down off the podium and he lets it touch the ground. I think he's just not paying attention. Adrenaline's going. He's all excited. Makes a mistake, lets the flag touch the ground, and gets ripped to shreds for it. Everybody wants his throat.
Yeah, Americans were.
So what?
not happy
You're
about
you're not supposed to let the flag touch the ground.
Yeah, so a general concept with flag etiquette in general is to never let it touch the ground. This is the concept of you never want to see a flag flying in the wind dirty. You never want to have a flag which is supposed to be a symbol of your country ever be distorted or disdained in some way.
Yeah, I call such bullshit on that.
Yeah, my flag is currently folded up and in a drawer because I have nowhere to hang it.
Yeah, mine is actually on the floor right now. I feel bad.
That's soup. Yeah,
For
that
any
will get you-
Italians watching, my Italian flag is on the floor under my bed, and I feel so bad.
They're going to kill you now, Phil.
Yeah,
the mafia
they're
will
gonna-
get
They're
you.
gonna whack you.
Yeah,
I used to have it hanging.
used to doesn't count.
Used to.
It's a big thing for a lot of things, especially like in your floor in your room, like storing it's probably fine, or in a drawer is fine. But it's like it's supposed to be like the idea being is that they're never supposed to be dirty. That's a big thing
Yeah.
with flags. They're never supposed
Yeah.
to touch the ground because they're supposed to be always green. There's a whole bunch of like Americans are really serious about it. They've got actually a thing out there called like the flag etiquette book or the constitutional flag rules. Essentially, it's a set of rules for what the American flag should always be. Stuff like the American flag must never be flown lower than any other flag. It can be flown at equal height, but it
Oh
can never
my
be
God.
flown lower. Like there's an entire book. There's a proper ceremony for destroying a flag when it's tarred and old. You're supposed to fold it and burn it in a specific fashion. There's a whole method for like how to maintain it in day-to-day usage. How long you're supposed to fly it for before you take it down. At what point a flag should be taken down and destroyed. There's huge amounts of like literature and a whole ethics guide to it.
That's crazy.
That's fucking stupid.
But yeah, they
It's a flag.
completely
I mean,
ripped Shaun
oh.
White to shreds after that. They were not happy.
Oh no, I
He
saw
was-
some guy call. Go ahead, John.
He was excited. It
Yeah.
touched the ground for a minute. Who come on?
He's literally just
Come
walking over, and then he puts it on his back and does the cape flying thing, whatever they do. But
Yeah.
like the dude's a snowboarder. He's not. He was never meant to be some political.
yeah.
I guess you could say pawn in this situation. Like
I
he
wouldn't
is
call him a pawn, but
not a pawn,
political
but-
representative.
Yeah,
I would never call him a political representative. You're never going to say, "Hey, do we need who we need to represent America?" Shaun White.
Shaun
He's
White.
just
Yeah,
America.
Shaun White, man, he's so American, man.
I mean, maybe it represent
That's
California.
like, why don't we get Tommy Chong to represent Canada in that case?
hey, why not?
Yeah.
He is a bit of a Canadian treasure.
Oh, but the other thing that Shaun White had some controversy around him for is apparently there's a sexual misconduct going around. One of the girls
What
that-
else is new?
Yeah, one of the girls that he used to work with, apparently and this is what I heard, he put his hand down her pants, like the back, and made her sniff his hand as if like, smell your shit. And they're like, but he is a snowboarder. Like that's stupid
Okay.
shit that snowboarders do.
Yeah, part of me that
It's
doesn't
gross,
sound
like,
like
you don't do
sexual
it, but-
misconduct as much as just misconduct in general and harassment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they interviewed him, like right after he won the medal, his coach or trainer or whoever it was like, hey, we're here to talk about the medal. We're not here to talk about some other bullshit.
Makes sense, but still. I mean, what else is new as far as sexual misconduct goes? Everyone's getting
Yeah.
accused of something nowadays, so.
Of course.
Yeah. The big
But
fear
in
that
terms of
it-
what Shaun White did, that's some snowboarder, skateboarder shit that happens like
yeah, that
on
yeah,
a regular
again,
basis to your friends. As gross as that seems to regular people.
I don't know. I used to be a bit of a skateboarder. I would never do something like that. That's just
Yeah, that
It's pretty
that really
gross,
sounds like
yeah.
it crossed the line. Yeah, that really sounds like it crosses a line and goes too far in the direction of like you did something pretty messed up, dude. That wasn't cool.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think
Exactly.
we need to take away his medal for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't take away his medal for it, but I also wouldn't bring it up at the medal ceremony. But like,
Yeah.
I would bring it up at some point or another.
At some
Yeah.
point and say, hey, dude, that's kind of gross. Why would you do that? And then
Mhm.
in which case he
Yeah.
says, oh, sorry. Okay, my bad.
My bad. Take full responsibility.
Yeah.
Things happen. Hopefully, you'll be a better person. I get it.
It was back when I had long curly hair, not when I was this handsome American ginger
Oh, he
stud.
cut the hair.
Yeah, he's a fucking stud now. Have you seen him?
No, I haven't. That's okay.
He's a
I
good looking
have
dude.
not.
Yeah, he's a good
Now,
looking
now
guy.
you're gonna make me Google him now, right now. Okay. So is he like trimmed it? Is it like really all?
It's kind. He's got kind of like the Hitler's Youth haircut going on, but
Well, that's not a great descriptor.
just to give you a general idea of what it kind of looks like.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, he's got. I wouldn't really call it the Hitler Youth, but I see what you're getting at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not bad compared to what he was before. Did you guys hear that?
Man, he looks like a different person.
Yeah, he looks way
completely
different.
different. Also, on the top of American snowboarders, there was one American kid on the Big Air that should have won gold. He did some amazing tricks. He killed that thing, and the Canadian guy won just from doing a 1440, which is just a bunch of spins. How many spins is that in a row? Four,
He-
three.
this
Yeah,
is-
but
okay.
but a 1440 is pretty impressive.
It's pretty good, but this kid was insane. Like, I forget the name of the trick of Dracula's coffin or something, where he like grabs.
What?
He grabs with both hands the back of the board. He like tweaked his grab mid corkscrew. I was like, this kid's killing it, and then Canadian guy wins on a couple spins.
I mean, this is always the issue. Let's talk about this for a second about sports. About how judged sports are always going to be a problem. Like no
Yeah,
matter
yeah,
what.
Yeah.
Like as much controversy as like hockey or soccer or whatever might cause, you're all at the end of the day, you're like 3 goals went in, 2 goals went in. That team won. That team lost.
You won
always
because
have
you're
like
better, not you
Yeah.
won because this judge liked you more than the other guy.
yeah. And like I mean, there are obviously still controversies in those sports. Bad ref calls, bad calls. That goal didn't go in
Doping
because it was
and
an
curling.
offside.
The whole Canadian versus U.S. women's game was such bullshit. The whole game, like fuck.
Okay, the Canadians sucked. I'm sorry. I know I'm like defaming our country, but they were playing shit.
Fuck you, Phil.
Oh,
I'm talking about the women's team.
Yeah, they played like absolute shit. They deserved to lose that game.
You
should
play
not,
like shit.
It should not have gone to overtime.
You
they-
shouldn't have gone to overtime.
They couldn't complete one pass. They couldn't get past
You-
their defense. They
You
got
couldn't complete one pass and get past their defense.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry. The
I will
Americans
defend.
were
I will
dancing
defend my women's hockey team till death.
I want to so bad, but they played so poorly.
Okay,
Now-
but I mean, to be fair, we still have like the last 4 years worth of gold medals, so I'm not.
Hey,
mean-
we
the,
still
o-
have,
the only?
we still
the
have
only
Canadian
thing-
curling. Oh no, never mind.
Oh shit! No, we
Hey, we
don't.
still have
no,
Canadian
we got.
women's curling.
We
Oh,
have.
wait,
we
never
have
mind.
mixed doubles. We have mixed doubles.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That is it.
Didn't the Russian win? Didn't the Russians? I mean, the not Russians win men's hockey?
Yes. Also,
Yeah.
the non-Russians were doping in curling.
Especially that one girl that wore the shirt that says "I don't do doping,"
I don't doping.
and she's the second one found for doping. What the?
Oh, that was
Wait,
so
wait.
bad.
So fucking.
The
stupid.
not Russians were found for doping.
2 of them were.
Oh,
One of the
God.
curlers, the curling man in the curling. They didn't point out specifically, but they're like, it's from the Russian team and it's one of the guys, and it was mixed doubles, so you can figure out which one of the 2
So
people.
mathematically.
Yeah. And
Cuts
then
it down
the
real
other,
quick.
the other girl was the bobsledder, and she walked around wearing a T-shirt saying, "I don't do doping," and she was the one caught doping.
That's some dramatic irony there.
Yeah. it's
Oh,
pretty
no
funny.
kidding. All right, moving on from Olympics to other controversies. You guys want to talk about guns?
Oh, so you want to talk? We're talking guns then. Is that what we all want to do, everybody?
Yeah.
Are we talking guns?
Let's
I feel
move
like
on
we're
to
going to be
guns.
talking guns. Now, I think
Oh,
we should
well,
preface
shit.
this. What'd you say, John? Oh, well, shit. Okay.
I said, well, shit, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we should preface this. The 3 of us are Canadian. This should clarify that.
You are.
Not American. So we'll be talking about American gun policy, due mostly to
Yeah.
the shootings that happen, but firearm policy in general. None of us own firearms, although
Nope.
we have a friend who does,
do
and we've
not.
talked to him. And I'd say
Although
you.
I have these 2 sick guns in my. I'm
Oh,
flexing.
fuck off.
Okay, that was
we have
my
a friend
gun
who
joke.
has guns, and I'd say I'm reluctantly
the
pro gun.
disappointment.
If would be the best description of it. I wouldn't describe myself as pro gun, but I know the most about it.
I'm
So
pretty anti-gun.
Yeah, John's fairly anti-gun, and Phil, I'd say you drop a call and come back. Hello, Phil.
Phil?
Phil.
Did we lose Phil?
I think we might have lost Phil. think he DC'd.
Hello.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, sorry, I disconnected from the call there.
Yeah, that's all right. It happens.
Okay.
As we were saying, you are. How would you describe yourself? Melee anti-gun?
I'm pretty anti-gun, but I understand the people's fascination with it.
Okay.
Like I understand someone like our friend who goes hunting. I understand having a gun to go hunting, but personally, I absolutely love animals. And yes, I know the irony in me being mostly a meat eater. I love my beef. I would never go out of my way to hurt an animal, but I understand the concept of hunting and using a gun for hunting. But to own an assault rifle, I don't understand that. I don't understand why you need a gun that was literally designed to kill another person. But that's just me. That might just be me. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, to talk about that, that's a big thing, though. Like, people want to ban specifically the AR-15 in the States after the school shooting, which was done with that particular rifle.
Shit, my memory card is full.
So, basically, as I was saying with the AR-15, is that's the one they want to ban most recently because it was the one that was involved in the school shooting in
Parkland.
Parkland. Thank you. My brain just completely blanked on it.
Right.
So, and I can understand why. You see a firearm used to hurt people, and you're like, just get rid of that firearm. The problem is it doesn't adequate all the issues that come with firearm control. There's a lot of things you need to do when you want to attempt to stop firearms from hurting people. Mostly, it has to do with licensing and restrictions and making sure people who you give it to are totally okay people. Mm-hmm. The guys who own like 30 guns and all of them look like assault rifles, typically speaking, aren't going to be your problem. It's the guy who owns one gun that he wants to use to hurt people. And it's been done in Canada here. The first like mass shooting we ever had, the guy did it with a hunting rifle, a very run-of-the-mill, not assault rifle looking gun at all. And that's how the policy was dictated. It was dictated from a perspective of like, well, any gun can be used in a dangerous format. Mm. The idea that you shouldn't own a specific gun because it looks like an assault rifle, I understand where that comes from, or looks like a weapon. It was designed to kill somebody. I understand. But the thing that makes it very good at killing makes it a damn good rifle, because at the end of the day, rifles are designed to put projectiles downrange.
Oh boy, camera's back. Sorry,
camera's
what were you
back?
just saying?
Yeah.
I said the main purpose, the reason that a rifle that's really good to kill people makes it just a good rifle in general, because most small game is about human sized. So target shooting, small game, as well as just plinking, which is just shooting in your backyard or shooting at targets for shits and giggles, makes it good for all of those things if it's designed to be effective in a combat scenario, because the things there's a lot of cross between it, because at the end of the day, the effective point is putting rounds down range, and it does it well.
So, are you for them having these guns?
Not unrestricted. See, the way America does its background system is very poor. They do a background check, but from what I can tell, it's little more than a criminal record check, which is nowhere near enough to give somebody a gun.
Yeah.
At all.
I don't know how accurate the video is that I watched of some kid just going in and purchasing a gun with an expired license. I don't know how accurate that is, but if that's the case, then...
Yeah, that was completely accurate. At a gun show in the States, you just need, I don't think you need ID. You just need to prove that you're the right age, and you can legally purchase a rifle.
Yeah.
Because
That's so fucked up, though.
That's messed up. Can you imagine if we were... we can't do that. We have a friend that owns many guns, but, he goes through a whole rigmarole process to get that.
Well, there's actually a weird thing about the rigmarole. Once you get an unrestricted license in Canada, so Canada has 3 tiers of guns and 2 tiers of licenses: unrestricted, restricted, and prohibited. So unrestricted basically means anything that's pump action, actually even some semi-autos for some reason. Anything that's like that, you can go and go through a 2-day training course. You have to fill up some paperwork and some basically forms that say, I am who I say I am. You have to get co-signed by another person who says that you are who you say you are and you're not going to kill anybody. And you have to pass a psych eval. You do all that, and essentially you can then just go to a store, flash your unrestricted license, and buy a gun, but you've gone through everything ahead of time.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me.
You have to renew it every few years, don't you?
I think it's either 3 or 5 years. I can't remember exactly. You have to renew it every so often to make sure you are still...
Right, but that should be the case, and I'm pretty sure it is in any country that allows you to own weapons. whereas
Yep.
in the States
But
you don't have
but
to.
then too, like when we were over at our friend's place and he showed us his weapons, he's like, yeah, I keep these locked up in one cabinet and the ammo locked up in
Yeah.
a completely different cabinet. And it's like,
Yeah.
again, that's something that just logically makes sense to me.
It still freaks me out. I don't like guns, period. Like, they personally freak me out. I don't like the idea that having all this power in your hand to basically end a human life.
It's just the whole concept of a gun. It was created literally to destroy. There is no other point
Yeah.
of a gun other than to take life, be it for an animal or a person.
Yeah,
So-
that's a fair enough statement as to why that they should be regulated to some form.
Yeah,
The biggest
absolutely.
thing is to let in my opinion, to let your fear of them and a lack of understanding of them get the better of you.
Yeah,
To
I
just-
completely understand. I should know that, it all depends on the person
it's
that
not
has it.
it's not from a lack of understanding though. It's just cops should have guns, yes. Granted, there are unfortunately some cases of cops abusing that power, which is unfortunate, and it definitely doesn't cover all cops. Gonna say that right now. I've known several in my life to be very wonderful people, and then military. Who else needs a gun?
Nobody.
Well,
in
I would
my-
argue a lot of people for hunting purposes need it, for also the right to target shoot, and just the concept of we're asking somebody what they need can be a little bit dangerous. It's kind of like saying, why does somebody need alcohol? Why does somebody need weed? Why does somebody need any of these things that are, or tobacco, right?
But
There
that-
that
Well,
are
no
because
one
they-
needs. No one needs
needs
these.
it. They just want it.
Weed maybe for like medicinal
Ah.
purposes.
As much as I love weed, I don't believe that argument. But
there are medicinal qualities though, but
Yeah.
for chronic
Yeah.
pain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the point being though is that you are correct. Nobody needs these particular things. The point is though is what we found through prohibition, the drug war, and various other things. Prohibiting these things is a bad idea. Regulating them is a good idea.
yeah, and I don't know what the argument is. Like the kids that are currently protesting that they want gun reform is they just want them regulated. They just want
Some
them,
do, some want
Yeah.
banned.
Some do, and
They're-
most do. Some want them banned completely, which is a bad idea.
But everyone in the States is getting all uppity saying, oh, regulating them is infringing on our rights. When that fucking right was written, there were
Yeah.
two types of guns. There was the musket and the flintlock pistol.
What year was that? What year was the Constitution was ratified in 17. When was that Constitution ratified? Because I'm like 90%
Well,
sure
yes,
that's when
know your
rifle
history.
technology was starting to be a thing. When was the Second Amendment added? I want to double check this real quick because I think that was when 1791. That's around the time rifle technology was starting to be a thing. Like I think.
Yeah, but they weren't.
Yeah,
nearly as
but
accurate.
still, they
And
were
powerful.
single shot guns.
Yeah, well, they'd be action rifles. Yeah, you'd be looking at some form of. It would probably. Yeah, it would if they had smokeless powder by then. My biggest question is whether or not they had smokeless powder. No, they wouldn't have any sort of breech loading rifle till the 1830s. Okay,
Well,
never mind. No.
regardless, yeah.
Yeah. So am I right? Like,
Yeah, you are correct. The Constitution was written, although it was upheld through years and years and years of guns. Like the idea being is that it wasn't ever repealed when America had a better opportunity to do it back in the 1830s, 1850s
Yeah.
as rifle technology developed.
yeah, exactly. So it's just basically they're like, oh, we should have these horribly inaccurate, horribly ineffective guns. But now that guns are getting better, we should have a right to keep those guns as well. I don't know. It just baffles me sometimes.
That
Baffles me that they're so against having gun reform or just having background checks that they won't even open this conversation.
Well, background checks is something that most people are behind, but what they mean by background checks and what happens if you fail a background check is what they can't agree upon. Everybody's cool with background checks. You ask most conservatives, say, are you okay with background checks?
Okay.
Most of them say they're okay with it. The thing is, if you fail a background check, you don't get the right to purchase a gun or you get your guns taken away from you,
But
they're
that should-
all against that.
That should be the case.
But
though.
how is that a bad
Like,
thing?
it's-
I don't get it.
It's the logical solution to this problem, and they don't.
It's also the case they would take people dying over the possibility of them not being
Of
able
not
to
having
defend
a gun.
themselves or them not being able to, if a tyrannical government takes over, the ability to fight it.
Because the whole defense, like for home defense, how many people are breaking into your house that you need a gun to protect you at all times?
Typically speaking, not many. Although,
Not
do
many.
that opiate crisis, you might see more in the next coming years. Have fun,
Yeah.
kids.
No, but you just need a baseball bat or just get a combat bow. Like it's
Combat
just
book?
bow.
Bow. Oh, yeah. Compound bow.
Compound bow. Sorry. Just
I
get one
would
of
not
those.
recommend a bow.
That
in-
is
in-
way more. That is way just as effective, and it confuses the burglar into thinking, "Why the fuck is there an arrow in my neck?" And then he's gonna run screaming. He's not gonna die, but he's gonna be severely injured.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh gosh. No, a compound bow will kill you super fast.
Okay,
And so you
well,
keep-
fine.
and-
It depends where
Oh,
you
yeah.
hit. Depends where you hit.
anything center of mass will probably kill somebody.
Okay, if you hit them in the arm or something.
If you hit him in
Then-
the arm, it's big enough. Either you're gonna miss them, or you're
You
gonna
know
hit
what?
him in the
You know
arm. And it's
what,
gonna go through the
Colin?
central artery and kill
If a
them.
burglar gets hit with a compound bow because the guy is accurate enough to use it, then he has the right to own a compound bow.
Okay,
It
no,
just,
exactly.
I just want to bring up this more like on Phil's hilariousness. I remember seeing an old Chris Rock bit where he's like, "We don't need gun control, we need bullet control." Where if a bullet costs $10,000 to buy, you know a guy who got shot had it coming.
Fair enough.
I get dark
is the point-
humor, but that might not be a bad idea either. Controlling bullets.
That is a concept, but the problem with that though is they'll just make new cartridges. They'll just,
Yeah.
oh well, you control this
3D
bullet. And the guy
prints
says,
and
well, I'll
bullets.
just manufacture bullets here. I'll manufacture bullets there. We'll do that. That is the issue when you end up playing banning or like we're going to prohibit firearms. You end up playing legislative whack-a-mole. We're going to ban this.
That's why
We'll make
these
this.
are- That's why these
Yeah.
are comedians and not politicians.
Yeah, that's why you need regulation over top of bans, because a regulation you can regulate the capabilities of a firearm, and then you have a description that okay, this falls into it. Manufacturers naturally want to comply because then they can sell their firearm legally. The people generally want to comply because then they have easier access to their guns. And also guaranteed safety as well. Know if somebody has their license. I don't have any liability as a dealer giving a licensed person a firearm because I know they know how to use it. So if this dude, kills himself with it or, accidentally misfires and kills his kid or something, it's not on there's no, obviously there's no policy on the dealer now, but you don't want to be the guy who sold a guy a gun who killed himself. That's just something that you don't want to be.
Hey, but they're perfectly
I-
fine with selling a gun to a mass shooter.
Yeah.
And then talking
Well, that
about
too,
it
that too.
later,
I
guns taken away.
think we can just say that 3 white Canadian dudes who lean a little more on the liberal side of the political spectrum aren't going to solve this problem, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You are correct. I mean, there's a lot of things. The biggest thing, obviously, being you are correct. We're probably not going to be the ones to solve it, and all we can do is kind of tisk ourselves. My recommendation to America is to look at regulation and look at the details of regulation and avoid the word ban. My recommendation to anybody who wants to have a conversation about gun control, don't say ban because you'll kill conversation immediately because they'll just
Yeah.
clutch their guns and
Yeah.
clam up. Say regulate. Say you want to improve gun culture. Say you want to improve the access to firearms. Stuff like that will get people interested. And take conservative people, listen to what they have to say, and question them on other things. Like a very common conservative talking point is guns don't kill people. People kill people. Right? That's a very common one. So ask them, why are you okay with giving people who shouldn't have guns, dangerous people, guns then? If people kill people, why do you give guns to people who want to kill people?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's a good way to start a conversation. Take their point, twist it on its head, listen to their points, what they're making, and don't just take like a really snarky approach like, oh, you're so dumb, but take a like, I hear what you're saying, but I disagree approach, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Just
want to
don't
call
do
it
it-
there, or
just-
they?
Yeah. I
Do you
think
want to
so.
call it there, or are there any other controversies you want to cover?
Oh, other than Fergie just totally botching the anthem, I kind of want to say
Oh
that,
yeah,
Okay.
Fergie. Holy
I'm gonna start
shit.
my record-
Keep it
yeah.
short then.
Yeah. So Fergie botched the national anthem, and Phil doesn't think it's a bad idea.
I honestly, I don't really care. First off, who chose Fergie? Like, of all the celebrities that could have done the NBA All-Star game, you chose Fergie.
Also, I want to point out though,
NBA is one of the biggest, like, social media, like, they're one of the biggest sports right now.
Yeah.
And they chose Fergie.
who's kind of dated.
Of all
Do you know what
people.
her last single was? Do you remember that?
Nope. I work at
It
a
was
top 40 station, and I don't know that.
It was MILF Money.
Oh, come on. Come on.
And they're upset that, like,
That was her last song.
Really,
That's her last
man?
hit single. I mean, it's hilarious.
Holy
Also, I think
shit.
it has Kim Kardashian in a bathtub of milk in the music
Oh,
video.
Jesus.
You should watch it. It's so dumb.
I'm not gonna watch that, and you can't make me.
There's a
I'm
lot
not gonna
of there's a
watch
lot
it.
of TNA in it.
So what? We've already all seen that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I feel like NBA just did it for the memes.
Maybe. I
Because
mean, they
they're
have got
so
a
focused
huge,
on social media.
response to it. So they say there's no such thing as
Yeah.
bad press. Well, hey, everyone's talking about the NBA All-Star Game, not for the game, but they're talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, also,
Honestly, it was a really bad performance, but I'm fully on Fergie's side. Like, she's not someone that I would think should sing the national anthem of all
No.
people, and she did what she did with it.
also,
She did Fergie. Fergie did Fergie.
Fergie did do
Fergalicious?
It was
Fergie.
awesome.
let's point out here to end the show as well. Who watches All-Star games?
NBA All Star is huge.
Is it actually? Okay, because I just figure 90% of All-Star games ever, nobody watches. They're just like, this is awful.
Well, in most cases, it's because you can't hit each other and the players don't really try. They just do it for the flashiness. But NBA, like, you already don't hit someone in basketball, so you're pretty much just letting each other dunk, and it makes it pretty exciting.
Okay, fair enough. Still,
Yeah. But NHL or football or something,
or
yeah,
baseball.
it's pretty boring. Yeah. Baseball has an All-Star game?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
baseball
baseball's-
is-
Okay.
What'd you say? Baseball's boring?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
baseball shit.
All right.
boring.
On that note of me being boring, baseball being boring, nobody liking All-Star games, and tens of children died due to poor firearm control. You want to end the show?
Yeah. Great.
All
Let's
right.
end it on
Let's
that
end it
happy
on
note.
Let's end it on that happy note.
Positive note.
I'm Colin,
I'm John.
And I'm Phil.
and this has been Thoughts and Other Lies.
Thanks for bearing with us.
Bye.